Hello and welcome to the Code Maven channel. My name is Gabor Szabó, and this time we are going to talk about setting up a CI system in GitHub Actions for a Perl module that I just got maintainership over it. Let me show you the screen here. So this is the module, it's called TestClass. The actual module is not relevant here, but this provides you a way to write XUnit and JUnit style texts in Perl. And it hasn't been maintained for some time, and I asked for it and I got maintainership. And the first thing I did once I got the repository, actually I did it even earlier, is set up GitHub Actions to run a continuous integration. And that's what I'm going to show you now, how this integration, how this works. So let me go to the command line and open the configuration file here. And let's go over it. So first of all, this is the scheduling. So the name is just CI, it doesn't really matter. The scheduling. It runs when I push out something. It runs when someone sends me a pull request. So far seems totally reasonable and common. But I also run it as a scheduled job once a day. And the reason I want to run this scheduled once a day, so it will run every day, even though I don't change anything in the code base, even though there is no pull request. But other things might change. For example, the module itself depends on other modules. Their new version of another module might have been uploaded to cpan, and I would like to make sure that the code base that I have in GitHub runs even on the newer versions of these modules. And especially this is the interesting. Or alternatively, more precisely, that I get notified immediately when something breaks. So not only a week, 2 weeks, a month later when I maybe start working on it, but also immediately when someone uploads a newer version to cpan of something that breaks this code. I think it's a good idea to do this. Then I have several jobs here, and let me show you if I go to the meta cpan and I click on the repository link, then I can also go to the actions. And here you will see, so first of all, you see that for 3 days I haven't done anything. So these are just the regular scheduled jobs, and these were the all earlier works. In this job, you can see that first of all, there is a job that runs in parallel 3 times. And then there are 3 different jobs that also run in parallel. The first job, and this is what I'm showing you, is what runs the basic tests of the module and creates the zip file, the distribution that I could upload to cpan. I haven't automated the whole release thing to cpan yet. Maybe I'll do, but for now it just creates a zip file that could be, it's like the artifact, okay? That would be the artifact in many of the other cases. And this I run on an Ubuntu home base machine. And I run it on 3 versions of Perl. I don't really need that because later on I'm going to run it on various versions of Perl, but I thought, well, why not? They're running on parallel. I use an image called Perl Tester from the Perl Docker group or whatever. The nice thing about this image is that it already contains many of the important baseline modules, important test modules. So it can be much faster because we don't need to install all these dependencies. The drawback of this, of course, is that if I forget to add something to my makefile, to the list of dependencies in my makefile that the module needs, then I might not notice this because this image already might contain that module. But I don't worry about this because later on I'm going to test this on a clean Perl. So here what is important for me is the speed that my test. I made some changes. They will run quite fast on these images and fail as soon as possible if I made some bigger issue. The actual tests are the following. So I just run Perl -v just to see what version of Perl I really have. Install this module, which I think, as I remember, is there because this is an optional module that some tests would run if they were installed. But it's not a requirement, so that's why it's not in makefile.pl. So I install it and run Perl makefile make test. Okay, so that's running the test. Then there are a bunch of auto tests. Okay, there are a bunch of tests that are only run if the adequate module is installed, like test pod coverage and test Perl critic. These are the list of modules that are needed. And if the release testing environment variable was turned on. These used to be in the XT directory. I just moved them to the T directory because I don't see a real reason to have them in the just separate in the XT directory. They are already protected by this environment variable, so people won't run them by mistake. I can also, it also notifies the people that there are these tests. If they are stuck away in the XT directory, then my feeling is that the people sort of forget. And indeed, these tests weren't passing before I got maintenance and probably weren't working for many years. So I'm just running these 5 tests. There's still one more in the XT directory. I still have to decide what to do with that. And maybe I could just have them in one line. Doesn't really have, I don't need these 5 lines separately. Okay, so everything was tested, and now the next step in this job is to create the release. This here I only run on one of the versions of Perl, so I don't need to, like 3 separate jobs, 3 parallel jobs and 3 versions of Perl. I don't really need that. I just run it on one of them. I picked 532, doesn't really matter. And what I do here is I replace the version number in the modules. And this is only primarily so later when I run the tests in the other environments, I can see that this is indeed not the original version that was in the file, but it's a newer version in the that I just upgraded. That I won't by mistake actually run the tests on an already released version of the module. Okay, so I replace the version number. And I don't change it in the repository, just for the work here. Okay, Perl makefile make manifest. Okay, so to create the manifest file and make this will create the zip file. Okay, so far is good. I have now the tarball that I'm supposed to, or I could upload to pose if it was a release, but it's not a release. It's just I'm putting it away. So the next step here, again, still only if it's version 532 of Perl, so it does just that image. I use this action, the upload artifact action, and I say upload this name called the release, doesn't really matter. Upload all the files that match this glob. Okay, so basically I skip the version number. I don't care about the version number, so I won't have to know the version number. I just upload the test class zip file that I just created. Okay, so now I have basically something that I could theoretically release to cpan. Of course, this is not what I'm doing here. And then come the tests. So now, first of all, I test on a clean Perl. Here I run it again on an Ubuntu image, not an Ubuntu base system. I also declare that this job will only run if the built-in container, so the previous job, this one is called built-in container, right? So if this finished successfully, then only then will this run. Here we declare the version numbers of Perl that we are using. I see that I have single quote, double quote mix-up. Okay, I can fix this. Okay, good opportunity in the video fixing code. Here we take an image. So this is just the base Perl, it's just the default Perl image, or the official Perl image that is on the Docker hub. Okay, and the version number taken from this matrix. So this is now a clean, or as clean as possible, version of Perl. Then we download the artifact from where we stored it. So this is the artifact management system of GitHub Actions. Install, and luckily this works, so install with using cpan-m the test class that's on the disk that was copied from. So this is how I say download from the artifact repository the release. So this name that I used earlier. And then I install that version. Okay, so that's supposed to be the version that I just created. Okay, and this is basically it. So I just install and make sure that they can be installed. Okay, there's nothing else here. The cpan-m already runs the tests. And I don't run the release tests, of course, here, because this is supposed to be similar to what the end user runs. Okay, then this is the job of running the downstream, testing the downstream modules. Here, again, this depends on the building container, so assuming that we already ran the first tests and created the artifact. Here, I just run it on one single version of Perl. I don't want to waste that much energy, basically. I mean, this is quite a lot of investment, I think. Here too, I use the Perl Docker, Perl Tester, because I don't care so much about the dependencies. I already know from the previous one, from this one, okay, when I was running on a clean Perl, that I declared all the dependencies that was needed for the TestClass module. And then come the things. So here, there are actually I separated them into two groups. The first one I started. There are a lot more modules that are actually dependent on TestClass. First, I started this one, which was I picked, I think, in ABC order, and then I realized that maybe it's a better idea to look at the reverse dependencies in order to the reverse stage. Okay, so just let me show you this. If I go back here to the metacpan, there is the reverse dependencies. So that's where I can see which modules are using this module, the TestClass in case. And here you can, I think you can sort them by ABC, which is okay, but it might be more interesting to sort them by how high they are in the cpan river. And as I understand, the higher they are, so the more blue lines these are, that means more other modules are dependent on that. A little bit strange for me why debug client is so high, because debug client, I think the only thing it depends on is Padre, but so I'm not sure if this is really correct. But well, I don't have a better way for now to decide which module is more important and which one is less important. So I just picked the top few from here. Okay, because saying that if more modules on cpan are dependent on this module, then it's more important to make sure that this module doesn't fail. Theoretically, I would love to have all of them. Okay, that would be like the nice thing to have all of them here. Anyway, I have a list here. So this is a list of these modules, and I couldn't make it spread on different lines, sort of. Maybe I can be done, but I didn't know how to do that. And there is a little shell script that runs here, basically. Just printing down the date, and then first of all, no test installing the module, and then running the tests only for the module. Maybe here I wouldn't need to run it, I should install deps maybe. So the point here is that I don't want to run all the tests of all the dependencies of these modules, because that would be just a waste of time. I would just want to install all the dependencies, so maybe I should put here install deps. Okay, install deps. Okay, so I'll just install all the dependencies of the current module, and then I can here I don't do test only. I will just verbose install the module. Okay, so at that point I'm going to install module. That might be better. So I'm going to change this. Okay, so this one just installs all the dependencies of the current module. For example, this moves get opt usage, and then in a verbose way we install the module, because this is what we are testing actually. Okay, and of course this can involve some issues, because this might mean that if one of these is dependent on the other, then we don't test all of them. But well, if they got installed, then it's fine, right? Well, even though without the tests. Okay, so anyway, there's some more to think. There were a couple of them, these important ones, that for some reason I couldn't install. I'll have to see how to add these as well. So there are a couple of these modules that were still in the old format, running with cpan m -- verbose. I would need to add them here. First of all, I would need to figure out why they were failing, and then this needs some extra installation that I couldn't figure out yet. Then I have the same thing again, but it is a few modules that were just taken from the ABC list. So for now they are separated. And here too, there were a couple that I had to put it away because for various reasons I couldn't make them work. Okay, so that's testing the downstream dependencies. The package is depending on this module. And then the last job, which actually the 3 jobs are running in parallel. So if I go back here, you can see that the native one that we are going to see now, and the downstream that we just saw, and the clean Perl ones, these all run on the same. So the fact that the native one was written by the third doesn't really matter. Okay. They all are only. This is not. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Here, this one. This also depends on the built-in container. So the very first job. And here we say that, okay, let's run it on 3 native operating systems, so Ubuntu, macOS, and Windows. So this is the matrix, and we are sticking to Perl 532 here, doesn't really matter. And then we are using this distribution, this action basically to install Perl. I'm not sure exactly if it's a good idea or not. But that's what I could do. Then there is also this thing that if so here we pick which version of Perl to use with this action, and here we say that this action can have either the default version of Perl on Windows or Strawberry, which is not the default. So right now we have we use just Strawberry Perl. This could be also an improvement. I guess the default is the active state. I don't know. I haven't tried it. I guess the ideal would be to run it 4 different versions. Once with in Windows twice. Once with Strawberry Perl and one what is called default here, and see that. So that could be also an improvement. I can see that. So we have that, and then here I had some separation. So when it's running on, if it starts on Windows, if the name starts with Windows, so if we are running in Windows, then this is how I can install the modules. So let me say, okay, so here this is the part that we download from the for the artifact repository or Artifactory, the zip file that we created, and this is how we install from locally. And this is how I managed to do it with the Windows, what is it called? PowerShell, right? So you say set content new line something, okay, cpan verbose. This is what I put, this is how I write something, this string into this file, install bat. Then I take the file names that look like this, TestClass, and append it to the install bat. And luckily, this is the way okay. After I put no new lines, it means that this doesn't get in a new line at the end. So now I have a line in this file called install.bat, which says cpan m -- verbose, and the file name that comes from here. Okay, and here I just look at what's in the file system and display the content of this install bot, and then I run this install bot. So this is primarily for debugging for myself, and then I run the Perl -m test class, and I just print out the version number. I think I wanted to do this the same in other places as well. This is just to show that we are actually using the version that comes from the Artifactory and not that comes from cpan, in case I would want to look at it. And this is the other one. If it's not Windows, then it's easier. Then I can just run cpan m test. So both on Linux and Mac, I can use these ones and run again and just display the version number. So this installs the test class and also runs the test, of course. And so this install.bat is what runs the cpan m verbose and install cpan. But maybe I should also add here the verbose flag, verbose, just so we can see if there is some error. It will be easier to see. So that's it. That's the job. I'm sure it can be improved. You saw I already improved it, hopefully, while I was recording this video. If you have any ideas how else to improve this CI job to make it even more robust and verify that the code that I'm going to release to cpan won't break other things, then let me know. I'm all ears. I would be really happy to improve this. And if you would like to adopt this kind of CI job, then be my guest. It's in GitHub. Okay. If you like this video, then please definitely like it, like up, down, whatever, where it is. Follow the channel, and see you in some other video. Bye bye.